Hey there, how are you going today? Wanted to make a video about our connection and disconnection. And one of the biggest issues I would say that we are facing today is that in today's society a lot of people are disconnected. The old type of society where people used to be there for each other, help each other, support each other, share food, for example, or all kinds of ideas. Those kind of societies are very rare today, especially in big urban cities. And this is an issue because a lot of people have become disconnected over time, and the disconnection is becoming bigger and bigger as people spend more time on their cell phones and their computers and work in their vehicles, and now becoming even isolated even further by all kinds of restrictions. The issue that I'm touching upon is that in the olden days people had more of a connection with each other, and whatever the size of a society that people lived in, it was like an organism. Everybody was helping each other, people were supporting each other. But nowadays, people are really not doing that anymore. People, for most part, have become very selfish in many cases, and self-centered, and quite narcissistic in some ways. And it's not a judgment, but an observation that I think we all could state very easily. So a lot of people have deviated from this connectedness, and I think in many ways it has caused a lot of unhappiness and a lot of mental issues, including depression and anxiety and increasing addictions, as well as suicide rate has skyrocketed since the disconnection. We see that already what's happening in Japan and South Korea for the last decade or so, and now with COVID, it's even gone up even more because people have difficulty connecting with each other. People have difficulty meeting opposite sex and so forth. Everything is just Facebook and dating apps and all kinds of nonsense where people don't see eye to eye. They don't get to interact with another human being on a real physical human level. And but the main thing is, when people are not there for each other, it creates a very weak society where there is a very strong sense of isolation. And in the society where people were there for each other, even if they did not have much, they tended to be more together. They saw each other as, everybody saw each other as very important, part of the society and community. And unfortunately, this is no longer, this is very rare these days, So I would say that this is very important to really reconsider and seek like-minded people who are willing to coexist and share and help one another. I mean, take example of regular grocery, right? If you live by yourself, for example, you buy a whole bunch of food. Most of this food you very likely cannot consume, which means a lot of it will go to waste unless it's shared with somebody else. So I think it's really important that we go back to some old ways of living, integrate some new ways as well that are also beneficial, because a lot of people they're just kind of throwing the baby with the water, so to say, when they switch into these new ways of living. Everything is high tech and computers and so forth. Honestly, things that have to be this way. It actually makes things more complex. I mean, take example of a car. Is it easier to readjust your seat in your car with your own hand manually, where it doesn't require any kind of mechanical parts? Or, you have to press a button and, it doesn't involve any physical movement from you. But what happens when the mechanical part breaks? It takes a lot more to get it fixed, costs more, etc., etc. So in many ways, there are some benefits to what the current technologies and so forth, but in many ways, a lot of old stuff is still very good. I mean, take example of a watch that, those old wind-up watches that could last forever, basically, compared to a battery-powered watch, which will die 100% sooner or later. Anyway, so the key that I'm trying to touch upon here, which really touches my heart, is that so many people are disconnected, and this disconnection is causing mental suffering, unhappiness, and isolation, depression, and addictions as well, that people use to cope with the disconnection. And if the society is broken up like this, it's like an organism. If we are not together, helping one another and functioning as a unit, we can all be individuals, but if we are not helping one another as a unit, what happens is we start to lose sense of purpose. And this is actually another leading cause of depression, alcoholism, and suicide from men, actually, in many countries, such as, for example, Russia. And but see, the thing is, it doesn't have to be this way, because if we all chose to help each other, to share, to see each other as important, because we are all important. We are not servants to each other. We are all human beings. We're all here together, and it's so important that we really do things together in a unified way, because it's just so much better. It's so much healthier. I mean, you ever tried raising kids by yourself? I mean, that's pretty hard, right? I mean, and life honestly can be a lot easier, folks, and a lot more fun with other people when we share, when we help each other, and find ways to make things more unified as one organism. Otherwise, when we are all divided, it's like a sick organism that is just falling apart. We can't separate the neck from the head. If you do that, the body dies. And neither it would be a good idea if we separate an arm from the body. We have to look at everything as being unified. Same thing goes for nature. We also need to remember that we are part of nature. Nature is part of us. And we ought to look at living in harmony with it as well. Just like the people in the olden days. Nature is not for us here to use it, abuse it, and destroy it and trash it. We need to look at it. Is time for us to really go back to the fact that we are part of it. We are interdependent with nature. We are interdependent with each other. And the more we respect this interdependence with each other and with nature, the more likely we will benefit each other and the nature itself. Again, life can be a lot easier, folks, and a lot more pleasant with everyone being there for one another. And it really warms my heart when I see people out there, sharing, being, everyone is so different and so unique, but when people are sharing their gifts and their strengths and in a community, and it's really great to see that everybody's everybody has a function, like a like a part in an organism, you know. And when that doesn't happen, it's so sad, you know, to see how people become rejected by the society and abandoned, you know, on the streets, for example. So, anyways, let me know what you think about this. Sending you lots of hugs, whoever you are, peace and love, and good energy, and I hope you're healthy and safe. Talk to you soon.